Honduras sits right in the middle of Central America, hugged by Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. It has two coastlines, the warm Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Gulf of Fonseca, which means the country is basically blessed with beaches on both sides. Over 10 million people live there, and Spanish is spoken almost everywhere. More than 65% of the country is mountains, covered in pine forests, misty valleys, and tiny villages where life moves slow and peaceful. Honduras is also home to the Rio Platano Biosphere Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site often called the Little Amazon. And off the northern coast are the Bay Islands, Roatan and Utila, sitting on the second largest coral reef in the world. When I was 9 years old, I visited Honduras for the last time. My mom is Honduran, and that trip was when I met my grandfather, Sebastian. We flew from San Francisco to San Pedro Sula, and even though Honduras is tropical, the mountains feel like spring, cool, fresh, and full of fog that looks like the clouds came down to say hi. My uncle picked us up in his truck and drove us up into the highlands until we reached the sign.
Bienvenido a La Esperanza.
We stayed at Hotel Mina, famous for its cozy rooms and, most importantly, hot showers. Trust me, in that cold mountain air, a hot shower feels like a blessing straight from heaven. My favorite mornings were in Intibucá, watching the mist roll over the colorful streets while eating.
Plátanos con frijoles y crema.
Sweet fried plantains, refried beans, and rich Central American cream. It's the true taste of the Lenca Highlands. And then there's the
Baleada.
Honduras is the birthplace of the baleada, a warm, fluffy tortilla folded over beans, cheese, mantequilla, and eggs. I still remember the rhythmic pat-pat of the dough and the smell of flour hitting the hot griddle. It's basically a hug you can eat.
My grandfather lives deep in the mountains, in a greenhouse I used to call the greenhouse. Later, I learned these traditional homes are called casitas de adobe. Sturdy houses made of sun-dried earth with red clay tile roofs. The kitchen runs on a wood-fired fogan. The smell of burning oak and pine mixes, with handmade tortillas cooking on a clay comal. Meals are simple, but full of love. Eggs, beans, mantequilla, wild chicken soup, fresh cheese, and sweet plantains. Honduras grows more than 20 types of bananas. My grandfather's property was full of them. Big ones, small ones, sweet ones, starchy ones. But my favorite were the tiny, honey-sweet minimos. Little bananas so small they fit in your hand. As a kid, I ate so many that I basically turned into a monkey. I was running around the mountains like I lived there, climbing trees, exploring the jungle and eating bananas, like it was my full-time job. If you saw me back then, you'd think I escaped from the rainforest. Showers, there were an adventure. The water came straight from the mountain, ice cold. To get warm water, we had to boil a giant pot over the fogan and mix it into a bucket. With all the steam rising, I used to joke that the adults were boiling water to pluck the kids like chickens. Don't worry, no children were harmed. They were just making sure we didn't freeze before breakfast. Honduras is more than a country. It's my family's roots. It's the misty mountains, the smell of wood smoked, the sound of tortillas being made, and the warmth of my grandfather's home. It's a place full of beauty, humor, and heart. Tonight, I'm proud to share a piece of that culture with you.
Gracias. Y que Dios les bendiga.